You fools! Matt, ESCunited, your favorite Eurovision channel, and this is Mattitude, the Eurovision live stream. Thank you for all that are here already waiting in the room. There are quite a few, and I see there's a lot of chatter going on, so welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Saturday, 7 p.m. Central European time, but here in California, it's only 10 a.m., so pretty early. I'm still zipping on a cup of coffee. Delicious. Anyway, so this is the first. If this is the first time you're joining us, this is, as the name indicates, a Eurovision live stream where we discuss the news of the week, and you get to ask your questions. We're gonna have a Q&A and all of that good stuff. It's pretty straightforward. It's fairly simple. So what I'll do, I'll go through some of the news that happened this week, and then afterwards, after each section, you'll be able to ask your question. Try to keep it on topic in that sense, like whatever I'm talking about, it should be related to that. If you have any general questions, that is fine as well. We'll do those at the very, very, very end. We have a general Q&A session as well. So this is always a lot of fun and keeps us, excited as we approach the Eurovision busy season. So I see a bunch of people in the chat already. Who do we have? Le Unicorn, how are you doing? Lyndon ESC is back in the house. How you doing? Ricardo Luis is right there. Lek M. Catherine Pandel. So many of you are here, and I see the questions coming in already, and I see you're already talking about what I was going to talk about in a minute anyway, so I'll jump right into it. Just so you know, the updates on our end, on my end, I should say. I booked my room in Tel Aviv. Yes, I booked my apartment, I should say. It's not just a room, it's an apartment. Actually, pretty close to the arena. It's less than 15 minutes to get to the place. It's in North Tel Aviv or whatever it's called. It's pretty close. I just jump on the bus and it takes me right to where I need to be. I'm sharing this room with one of my team members, Zach. He is going to be in Tel Aviv as well, part of ESC United. So we are all going to be there. We're sharing a place. That's taken care of. I figured I better book something right now because the prices are going up quickly. So I wanted to get that out of the way. And then now I just booked this morning my flight. So yes, I am all set and ready for Tel Aviv. Better early than, than never. Or like then pay more. That wasn't even really expression. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, so actually what I'm going to do is, and I'm really excited about this, I found, there's a very affordable airline, Norwegian Airlines, if you heard of them. They're the best for us here at the West Coast. It takes me straight to Rome, Italy. So yes, I'm going from LAX, Los Angeles Airport, to Rome. I'm going to spend 2 nights right there just to see the city. I haven't been there since I was 5 years old, so I'm super excited about that. And then jump on another plane straight to Tel Aviv. I'll get there actually on Friday already. So I'm getting a little there early and get to explore the city. So that is, I just want to share, this is the updates for me. I have my room, I have my flight, I am all set. Well, not all set. There's plenty of other things to prepare for, but this is where we are at right now. So this is my update, and I'll jump right into the topics, and let's get this thing started. Now, keep in mind, you can ask questions. Make sure you put at ESC United so they will stand out. And I know it's not just general chatter. People keep asking how to support the channel. You can always do a super chat if you want to put $1 or 2 in, and those questions will always be answered first. In addition, you can become a Patreon. The link is in the description box. But if not, it's fine. This will always be free. But I just wanted to let you know these are the things you can do to support us. Anyway, let's jump right into the first topic of the day. And again, afterwards, I will ask you some questions. No, you can ask me some questions and we'll have a conversation about that. How does that sound to you? All right, and I think the first one is the big elephant in the room that we all have to talk about. The news broke late last night or yesterday, and this morning more and more came in. And it is all about Bulgaria, right? Bulgaria initially announced that they are going to take part in Eurovision. They had the provisional deadline saying, yes, we are in. And then yesterday and stuff fell apart, and some mysterious tweets popped up online and on their Twitter account, their official Twitter account, that make people worry about what's going on. So we all knew that, in case you don't know what's going on, last night they posted a lot of tweets, it seemed, to a specific project, a big project that is coming to an end. And of course, our thoughts are like, well, That sounds like Eurovision, right? So, in a tweet that has now been deleted, actually, that is the crazy part. They said, a very difficult day for the whole team of BG Eurovision, that's a Twitter handle, wishing the best of luck to our young, energetic project coordinator, one of those creative and strategic minds behind the scenes who worked hard in the last few years of the Bulgarian delegation. So that initially was like, oh, what's going on, right? This is not good news. And then it just gotten worse from there on out. This is what they were saying. A big gratitude also to Krisia, Hassan, Ibrahim, Poligenova, Gabriela Yaronova, blah, 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 all these names. Basically everyone listed. And last but not least, our great partners from Virginia Records. And then they added more information and detailed explanations about the current situation regarding the Bulgarian participation at ESC and the future of the project will be released soon. Until that, then I think they meant, we won't comment on any informations from other sources, from any sources other than BNT. Thanks for your understanding. So of course it's like, what is going on? This is all very cryptic. This is not a good feel about what was going on. And on top of that, JJ, who it was 1/5 of the band Equinox representing Bulgaria this year, tweeted the following: I'm extremely sad and disappointed to hear that Bulgaria is withdrawing from Eurovision. It was one of the few opportunities for the Bulgarian performers. Right? So somebody asked why. You have been the favorites for the past few years, and then JJ responded, as far as I know, it's mainly financial reasons. So this is where we're at right now with all the craziness that's been going on and a lot of information. Now, I'm not saying that they are out. They are not out. But of course, obviously it's a reason to be a little worried, concerned, what is going on. But here are a few theories that I have. You don't have an official announcement, right? Number one, this is all just a social media attention thing, because they have been really good at getting people excited and involved and interested in their selection process, right? In previous years, they always had some really, not outrageous, but certainly eye-popping tweets out there. So this could be just another way to get people sucked in and be like all nervous, and they're going to be like, boom, just kidding. Maybe that's just the optimist speaking in me, but I don't think this is necessarily out of the realm of possibilities. That would be my thinking, at least. And the other option would be number two. It's absolutely true that they are struggling financially. And this is not an uncommon thing, especially for smaller countries. And that could definitely affect Bulgaria. They had financial problems before, as we all know, right? Now, just because they had great results the past few years doesn't necessarily translate into having more money. That is something we need to keep in mind. It's just more encouraging, and the broadcaster and the team most definitely want to take part. But that doesn't mean that it's going to happen. So those are, and what that could do, I should add on top of that they're still looking for solutions. Maybe private funding or something like that, some sponsorship or anything like that. Maybe talking to the EBU that they can take a loan. Many different options are still on the table. So this is not a no, right? So I don't want people to get too upset. I saw a certain outlet saying Bulgaria withdrawing from Eurovision. That has not officially happened. So don't fall for that just yet. It could definitely happen. It's definitely possible. But I don't think necessarily it is set in stone. I really think that Bulgaria has still a good shot, or we have a good shot of seeing them in Tel Aviv. It would really suck. It would really suck if we were to lose them now after these 3 years of fantastic results. They're on a roll. They have figured out Eurovision. So, and we all want them to win eventually, right? Although I don't know if they can afford it at this point if they have such financial problems. So this is where we're at right now. I'm trying to be realistic with a touch of optimism, but I always learned, prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. That is usually my motto, and hopefully it will actually be that way. But we have to wait and see. This is where we're at. Also, make sure you're gonna ask your questions in regards to Bulgaria or anything that's related to that. I will do my best to answer them. But this is where we're at right now. I need more coffee because I'm also half asleep. Oh. So much better. So one of the countries, there are a few countries that are still like possibly not in. Ukraine is struggling financially. Now Bulgaria, there could be a few others. Eurovision is not in danger or anything as far as not taking part, even if San Marino, Russia, whom I was saying right now, Ukraine and Bulgaria, all four of them, God forbid, were to withdraw, we would still be at 39 countries. That is still a number that is not horrible. It's not great compared to previous years. But if you remember in 2014, just 4 years ago, we had 37 participants. So we want as many countries to take part, but I would not freak out it. I just want everyone to be in there. Let's see a few questions. Again, do at ESCunited or Super Chat, whatever works best for you. ESC France is asking if I listen to the junior songs. Not yet. I'll listen to them when they all come out, or when they're all out at the same time, and then I will do videos. I listened to one clip, one song so far, which is Israel. So, what do you think about San Marino and Moldova's participation? Lek M is asking. Moldova will be in, no doubt. Moldova is on a roll. They're always very hush-hush about their participation, but there is no reason why they wouldn't take part. So count them in. As far as San Marino is concerned, I'm still cautiously optimistic about them. Nothing is sure when it comes to that small country because, they need sponsors, they need financial help. So I don't know yet. I say 60% chance of them being in. That would be my guess. I see a bunch of questions about other withdrawal. Eurovision Factor is asking if Ukraine and Bulgaria withdraw, do you think Kazakhstan will be invited? This is a very good question, and I'm not sure if you watched one of my previous live streams. I said I don't expect Kazakhstan to take part in 2019, right? They're going to take part in Junior 2018, probably just feel out the vibe, getting used to the whole thing, and then in the future they will join Eurovision. The only way I could see Kazakhstan taking part is if we were to lose a bunch of countries and they would replace them. Now, if we were to lose, as I mentioned, San Marino, Ukraine, and Bulgaria now, we're still at 40. I don't think that number warrants a replacement because it's still a decent number. So, but I think they were thinking, let's say, because it was the whole what if Jerusalem would have hosted the contest, I think a lot of other countries would have withdrawn, and then Kazakhstan probably would have replaced maybe one of them. But as of right now, I don't think Kazakhstan will be in Tel Aviv. That would be my guess, at least. Do you think Russia will withdraw because of Julia Samolyova drama? Gat uf Niksadahanan is asking. No, I'm 90% sure that Russia is in. Russia, one flop for them. Yes, they're probably going to be pissed and all of that stuff. But it's Russia. They know that Julia was not the wisest choice. We know why she was chosen in 2017. I just think, like, what year are we in now? And now they kind of promised her, so they kind of had to follow up on that promise. But everyone knew that this would be a tough one. It was really the song and the performance. And I think even the Russian team knows that, and they will be back. Even though they haven't announced anything, they never announce anything. They always wait until close to the deadline. So I wouldn't worry about Russia at all. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to ask 2 more questions about this one, and then we move on to see if anything about Bulgaria here. Do you think, Le Unicorn is saying, do you think that North Africa will ever get heavily interested in participating in Eurovision? I wish they would. I think there's just a cultural and political climate right now that will not allow for that to happen. And of course, a big thing is Israel. As long as Israel is taking part, none of them will be able to take part because they would have to broadcast the Israeli performance. And a lot of these countries have certain laws where they're prohibited from doing so. That's why the whole drama happened in 2005 with Lebanon. So I can see it happening far into the future, but not in the near future. That would be my guess. You pronounced yeah, I don't speak Dutch. Like I speak German, and I'm just so bad with Dutch. I don't know. You think I'd be better at it, but I'm not. Okay. So let me see if any questions. Demi posted on Instagram a photo saying that a major announcement is coming. Do you think she could participate with Too Late? I don't know that song, Pop, so I don't think Demi will be back. And wait, are we talking about the same Demi from Greece last year? 2017, This Is Love? I don't think she'll be back. That would be my guess, at least. Anyway, so this is what we have with Bulgaria. Just hang in there, hang in tight. We don't know what's going to happen. Realistically, there is a good chance that Bulgaria may not be in there, but it could be just a stunt, or they may find another way to finance the participation. Maybe they're looking for other ways that the actual music label is paying for everything, like Greece is doing. There are other options that they could possibly look at. Maybe they get a more financially stable Greek performer that is willing to pay for all of this. So just hang in there. Don't get too upset just yet. Just yet. All right, so we have more news. This week was, an okay week when it comes to news. But one of the cool ones is, let's talk about Australia. Yes, the country that is it's clearly not in Europe, right? But has this special invitation from the EBU because they are such big Eurovision fans and have been broadcasting it since 35 years. I think so. 35 years. So they are dedicated fans, and according to the EBU, earned their spot in Eurovision. So they've been invited again this year. And actually, in case you don't know, the first participation 2015 all the way up to 2018, all four performances acts, I should say, were selected internally. So the broadcaster said, okay, you, Guy Sebastian, you, Dami M, you do it, so that was how it's done so far. They've done pretty well, qualifying every single time, including a second place and a fifth place, so not too shabby. But after finishing last in the televote this year, Australia decided, you know what? Let's switch things up. So what they're going to do is they're going to actually have a national final for the very first time. And a date apparently has already been set. February the 9th. February the 9th is when Australia is going to select their entry via a national final, a selection. We don't have all the details. Apparently it's called Australia Decides. So that is what we do know so far. And so basically, that's what's been said. We're just continuing to build on the Gold Coast's international reputation as a powerhouse of Australia's film and television industry. We have great plans to make the Gold Coast Eurovision Central in February 2019. So spandex and sequins at ready. It will be an awesome show. So this is really exciting. It's going to be very interesting in that sense. Australia is so far away, even time zone wise. So when they have a show in the evening for the Europeans, it would be so exciting because you can watch it in the afternoon. Switching it up, right? So that's going to be weird, which is not weird to me because I live in the US, so I always watch my national finals here around noon. So like 11, 12 in the morning, that's when usually they're on for me. So, and then I have the afternoon and the evening still time to do other stuff. So I find that kind of cool, actually. So this is what we have with Australia, that they are going to switch to a national final, which I am a huge fan of. More national finals, the merrier. That's what I say. More for us to watch, more for the people to get involved, and you feel a little bit more excitement and pride when you actually have a say in picking a song. And this is the song of the people. Do you know what I mean? So I find that a really cool way to actually pick a song. So I'm thrilled that Australia is following that path. Let me know if you have any questions about Australia in Eurovision, the national final, or just national finals in general. I'm happy to answer them. This is where we're at right now. Again, this is not like the biggest news, but it's cool. I know there have been some rumors out there that they were going down that route, but the fact that they're going to do it, come on, that is pretty nifty in my opinion. So Zoe Simply is asking, do you think that it is a good idea to enter OGAE? The membership in the country that I live seems that I don't want to add people and want tickets and access to themselves. Okay, so again, it's a little bit off topic, but I'll answer it anyway. So, in case you don't know what, no, blah, 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 blah. I can talk today. In case you don't know what OGAE is, it's basically the official Eurovision club, so fan club. Thousands and thousands of members. There is the OGAE International, and then OGAE International has like a branch of clubs. Most countries have a club, except the smaller ones, with those who don't have enough fans. But there's OGAE UK, OGAE Germany, OGAE Spain, and Greece, and so on, so on. So they all report to OGAE International, and those OGAE groups, they get a set number of tickets every year that will then be distributed amongst the members. Each club has a different method to decide who will get the tickets. So I used to be part of OGAE, but I no longer am because I no longer watch the shows. So of course, if you're just a fan, want to be part of a fan club, nothing wrong with that, right? But as far as tickets are concerned, if you bank on getting tickets by joining OGAE, don't. It's tough for long-term members to get tickets, sometimes depending on the availability. Lisbon was pretty tough. I remember there was a lot of scrambling and fighting over tickets. So it's nothing said and done, even for people who have been on there for a very long time. But now with Tel Aviv, with that tiny little arena, there will be, blood will be spilled. It's going to be tough. There won't be many tickets with OGAE, I'm predicting. Of course, I don't know for sure, but I have no idea how they're going to do it. So if you think your odds increase by joining a club, it really depends on what club you're part of. Every country is different. So, but I would not go down that route unless, you just want to be part of the club for fun. But don't do it for tickets at this point, unless you want to ask the president of your respective club of your country. So that is what it is. Okay. So do you think ESC Veggie is asking, and a lot of questions are coming in, do you think all German participants will be announced next week? Again, do at ESCunited or Super Chat, whatever you want to do. To answer your question, possibly. I saw some updates, but it's been a week now about that some declined the invitation. I think we'll get an announcement soon, whether it's going to be within the next week or two, I don't know, but I think we'll hear sooner than later. If you ask me, I think it'll be a little longer than that. I think they're going to wait a little longer, but hopefully I'm wrong. I'm not sure about that one because Germany is still trying to figure things out. It worked last year, but they still haven't have their groove yet. So give them a couple of years to really figure it out. So let's see. Strulik Sunset, do you think this year's result of Australia is because of the performance, or is Europe sending a massage? We're going to send a message to Australia in general. Well, they're going to send a massage, but a message as well, I think. I think it's really just the fact that they're learning, and I think there's just going to be more interest if people actually get to vote. And the fact that Australia finished dead last in the televote this year, and I think they were second to last the year before, they know they have to figure things out because, yes, they may be doing decent with the juries, but not with the televoters anymore. So they know they have to switch things up. I think that definitely played a part in it. At least that is my thinking. What do you think about so many national finals being on the same day? Well, who's that asking? Like M again. Honestly, it sucks for us, but I don't think that they really, the broadcasters, think about, okay, I cannot have my national final that day because other countries have it on the same day. No, they're not going to worry about that. They're going to worry about their own scheduling. And it's just the way it is. We always have our super Saturdays, right? The weeks, like the last 2 weeks in February, first week in March, those are the 3 crazy weeks where we have all these shows. And I think it's just going to be similar this year and next year, I should say. It's still 2018, technically. And I think it's just how it goes. I don't think it's going to be much more extreme than in previous years. I could be wrong, but that's just what I'm saying. Okay, do you think that Russia will send the song as much as possible for winning this year? Hey Man is asking. Hey Man, first of all. I don't see Russia usually taking part in the contest just for the sake of taking part. Say what you want about Russia, but they are very, very competitive. And I think they will send something that will blow our minds. They always try. It doesn't always work. Now you can say this year was a little different, but it was just became a big mess after the whole Ukraine thing the year before and everything. So they had to bring back Yulia, and it just didn't work out in the end. But I think they'll send something that will be up there in the odds. They usually are, and we all know that they're going to do an amazing job with the staging. Am I right? Am I right? So, so many questions here. Let me see if I have one more I can ask before we move on. What do you think about the following idea? Ranovich is asking. Any future boycotting will result with an immediate ban of the boycotting country from the contest for at least 5 years. Ranovich, I don't know if I agree with that. I think boycotting is a fair thing to do. Boycotting is a peaceful protest kind of thing. And I think every country should have that right, every broadcaster, to boycott. Plus, you don't even have to call it a boycott. Let's say I own the Netherlands. I don't own the Netherlands, but I'm running the broadcaster in the Netherlands, and I see, okay, ooh, Belgium, our neighbors are taking part. We don't like them. I don't want to be there, which is the least likely outcome. That's why I'm using this dramatic one. I could just say, I'm not taking part. We're not taking part. Whatever. That may not be a boycott. Even though it may be a boycott, it is my right to not take part, or the country's right not to take part in the contest. My nose is super itchy right now. Forgive me. I gotta blow my nose here for a second. Okay, better. So anyway, a broadcaster can do whatever they want, take part or not. So you cannot penalize them for not taking part. So, and once you do boycott, I don't think the EBU would do that, because if you had, let's just say Eurovision would have taken place in Jerusalem, there would have been a chance that countries would have pulled out or not taken part, whether it's Iceland, Ireland, whatever, right? Let's just do that. Do you really think the EBU would ban them from taking part? No, they want countries to take part. So I highly doubt that were to happen, and I don't think they should go down that route. It's always dangerous. So let's move on to our third and final topic. And this is not really even news. It's really more about Eurovision in general and how it has evolved. And I was inspired by a really neat op-ed or editorial on our website ESC Extra. They're wonderful people and they do great content. Check them out. But they put an editorial that I really, really liked. And I wanted to because I've been thinking down those lines as well. I will put that link in the description box once this video is archived, so you can take a look at that. But it was a very interesting article. It's talking about how it's called in ESC and JESC, the Junior Eurovision, rules don't matter anymore. And I have been noticing that the past few years as well, where the EBU has been going against their own rules at times, and it feels it's becoming more and more obvious. Some of them are trivial, some of them are less trivial to me. So they went through a list of different topics, and I virtually agree with everything that they're saying. Some of them are maybe not quite as important. They're just like, yeah, whatever. But it's just interesting to kind of acknowledge those little things, and I just wanted to add actually another one that they didn't include in the article. But other than that, I think it was a fantastic read, so make sure you check that one out. Some of the talking about is the use of commercial references. You remember in 2012, San Marino could not have the Facebook song, so they had to call it the social network song, and you remove all these terms that are trademarked, Facebook and all of that stuff. That has changed quite a bit over the years, especially in Junior, where you can use the song YouTuber, and even in Toy, the song Pikachu. That is a name that is usually, trademarked, but they used it anyway. So they kind of walked away from that a little. Have you noticed that? That was one of the changes. Not as big of a deal, but it's interesting to point out. There are plenty of other examples. They're talking about the use of foul language. Definitely, we were very strict about that in the past, but I think that is more of a normal thing, because previous generations were a little bit more about it. Now newer generations are a little more, yeah, what is cursing is part of the freedom of expression, if you will, and I'm in favor of that anyway. But they have definitely evolved on that as well. And there's a very interesting one that talked about the September 1st deadline. So if you know what I'm talking about, the rule is that a song should not be released prior to September 1st of 2018 for the 2019 season. So if you have a song that was released, let's say August 1st, it should not be eligible to take part in the Eurovision Song Contest 2019. So it has to be September 1st or after. However, in recent years, they made a few changes to the rules, right? So one example is, I think it wasn't 2 or 3 years ago, I'm trying to remember the exact year, but they basically amended the rules saying September 1st is still the hard, well, not as hard line anymore, but there are exceptions. For instance, if there was like a reveal of the song at a concert with very limited exposure, like you have somebody performs that song at a concert, somebody tapes it on, puts it on YouTube and has like 3,000 views. They do not consider that like as widely accessible, so therefore you are still eligible to take part. And we had a few examples of that over the last years. I think the biggest one that we had in 2018 was Belarus, Alexei's Forever. He has performed that song the entire throughout 2017 throughout his concert, but the difference was it was in Russian. Of course, I made some arrangement changes and all of that stuff. They did that until the last minute anyway. But this is, a big change. And it was just very interesting to me how they're becoming more and more loose when it comes to that. And every year it seems to be a little less strict. And the question is that concerning? Is that good? I mean, even Jamala's 1944, the song that eventually won in 2016, it was already on YouTube. It was uploaded before the deadline then as well. It is divisive within the Eurovision community, and rightfully so, because it's like, if you make an exception for that, then I could say, well, why don't you make an exception for me? Why am I being picked on and not getting the same kind of treatment? That's why this is very, very a dangerous territory, a slippery slope, if you will. It was just a very interesting thing. I agree with that. They talk about the use of pre-recorded vocals. It's usually not allowed in Eurovision. In 1999, Croatia used pre-recorded vocals, were penalized for that. Points were deducted and all of that stuff. But we also had now in 2017 where Norway used the looper thing with the voice, something that could not be recreated with live vocals. The EBU allowed that one time, which I personally don't even think is that big of a deal because it wasn't really like singing in that sense. It was more like an instrument in some ways. I get that. But you send a precedent there that could then be a loophole now that could be then taken advantage of or abused by others. I'm like, well, they did it in Norway in 2017. Why can't I do that? And I do know that Krista Bjorkman, the guy who owns Sweden, or Eurovision in Sweden, Melodifestivalen, in Melodifestivalen, they use pre-recorded backup vocals anyway, that he has been a big proponent of that to be also added in Eurovision. That way you can more focus on the show. Of course, a lot of people are not in favor of, but that is something, are we walking towards that as well now? Little changes here and there. Maybe in a few years we're going to have pre-recorded backup vocals. Could be. Could be. I hope not. I would be very much against that. But it's just an interesting observation how the EBU slowly kind of makes exceptions and bends their own rules. And here's a very interesting one. Use of covers. Not sure if you paid attention to Junior Eurovision. Maybe they're a little bit more forgiving with the junior version of it. But Israel released their entry, right? And it's a cover. It's a cover version. The original version was released by the songwriter earlier this year, I want to say May. And it has millions and millions of views. It was very popular. And this is just a child singing that song. The EBU, apparently, from what I'm hearing, I haven't seen an official statement, but ESC Extra is reporting that the EBU allowed that song to be entered, even though it is a cover version. And strange, right? Now you can say it's also still brand new, and the songwriter agreed with it, they worked with them, so all of that stuff, but this is, once again, a dangerous precedent that I do not like. I do not like. So it's just a very interesting thing how they're adding more and more of these things, and this is a very interesting thing. Then they talk about on ESX, why does it matter, and I agree with that, and it does matter. And I want to also add another one is the whole thing about which countries can or cannot take part. They make exception at Junior Eurovision, now at Eurovision as well. As you know, in Junior, Kazakhstan is now allowed in. Wales is taking part, probably because the UK doesn't take part, so they just allow Wales to take part. Australia is now in the grown-up version as well, getting an exception. So they pick and choose who they want and who they don't want to take part. And I've been thinking about this recently. It's like it feels they're doing that more and more on so many different levels, and it is concerning because you cannot just bend the rules every single time and then expect people not to get concerned or upset about it, and that they expect the same kind of treatment, right? And ESC Extra nailed it when they said, it seems trivial. It seems not like a big deal, yes, you can swear now or something like that. Why does it matter? But it's the little things that add up. And some of them are not as little, in my opinion. There is a reason it's called a contest. It's a competition. A competition needs to be as fair as possible. Yes, you can say, well, we already have unfair rules where the big five go through right away, that now the producers determine the running order. And I agree with that. I don't like any of these rules either, but it seems they're adding more and more to it. Now, not all of them I agree with. Some of the rules are stupid, some of them are good, but that's a personal opinion, right? But once you set certain rules, you have to stick to them. You cannot just flip it around like that. So that I thought was a very interesting observation. It just really got my thinking juices going. And I just felt as that needs to be addressed. I think I'm just worried it's getting worse and worse. And often certain violations that just go past unpunished, the EBU is looking the other way. I know it's difficult. It's difficult to be in that position. And I'm not necessarily just going after them, but I just want to be sure, like, hey, maybe we need to be a little bit more aware of these rules, things that we just let them slide and not address them properly. So the rules need to be enforced, and I'm not trying to be like, rules are there. If you want to make changes to the rules, be my guest. I mean, I may not agree with all of them, but you have to be consistent. You have to be fair. And this is what I feel as it's not happening. And anyway, I would like to hear from you as well, guys. What do you agree with me? Do you think I'm over the top? Or what other things have we missed? Again, check out ESC Extra. It's a wonderful article. I loved it. Let me see what some people are saying. Lek M is asking, what do you think about the EBU banning live instruments on the stage? I mean, even the orchestra or live instruments. That started in 1999, right? That's when the orchestra was abolished, as well as live instruments anywhere. I understand the logistics behind it. I understand, and the cost. Having an orchestra learn now 40 plus songs is tough. They can do it, but then you need to add extra room. That is extra money, and an orchestra can mess up the performance, and it's not the act's fault. A lot of the songs these days don't have instruments that you can really play, so you would have to use the backtrack anyway. Playing instruments on stage is very difficult to have them connected and get all and with everything going so fast on stage, if you ever saw how quickly it goes, you perform on stage, you get rushed off, and the next act comes on, it's tough. So I understand now with the way the show is moving, it's very, very difficult. So, but at least it's set. There are no exceptions. Not one person can bring an orchestra with you or live instruments. It applies to everyone. So in that sense, I'm okay with it. I just wish we had it. I love instruments. Like you mean live instruments? Well, it's the same thing. As I point out, it's just very, very difficult to do live instruments only because of that. Because you just go on stage, you run off stage. Connecting all of that, it's virtually impossible. Okay, God Uf Niksan is asking, do you prefer the old system or the new system semifinal results this year? Azerbaijan, Lithuania out, Latvia and Hungary out. The new system semifinal? Oh, the new system as in half the points coming from the juries, like two sets of votes. I love it. I think it's way more fair. It doesn't give the juries or the televoters the chance to drown a song completely. It still happens. I mean, it happened to several songs this year, but it certainly is less powerful, if you will. It is less powerful, and that is good. Ricardo Lewis says, I think the EBU cannot allow countries that don't have a venue like Montenegro, Moldova, San Marino, cannot allow countries that don't, what do you think? Oh, you mean like take part or host? I think they should be able to take part. Everyone should be able to take part if they meet the criteria, right? The rules. As far as in hosting is concerned, it needs to be up to them, but they can say, you know what, we cannot afford it, pass. So I think they should be allowed to take part. But if they cannot host it, so be it. That would be my opinion. So, Let me see other questions that you have. Do you ever think Valentina Moneta will come back for San Marino? I don't think so. I think that they have moved on for that. Keep in mind the reason why Valentina was there is because of Ralph Siegel, right? Ralph Siegel paid for all the participations, and that's basically why she took part. If they bring him back, maybe, but I think we're done with the era of Valentina. Not that I wanted to, because she's our queen, right? But I would be surprised if she comes back. Okay, so if you have any other questions about the whole rules about the EBU, make sure to ask them, and then afterwards, I will just answer general questions a little bit more. I'm trying to pick them out here. I see a lot of questions about Russia and about Australia again. People ask me about Australia. I talked about Australia just before I did this. I know about it. I talked about it, and I think it's great. I think it's great that we have that. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, well then, if you know other questions about what I was just talking about at the end, I just wanted to throw it out there about the rules changes. It makes me a little nervous, but let's see how it's all going to turn out. So this is your opportunity to ask any questions for like 10 minutes. I'm just going to answer your questions. Again, at ESCunited, that's how you reach me, and I'll try to answer questions. If not, you can always do a super chat to support us. Let's see what we have. Do you think Slovakia returned in the near future? ESC Ivan Slovakia G is asking. Well, it depends on how you define near future. I think they will return eventually. I think they'll pull a Czech Republic, that they just show up one year unexpectedly. But I don't know if it's going to be in the near future. They had great opportunities to return. Their neighbor Austria won. They didn't go. Right? Czech Republic did so well last year. Still not encouraging enough for Slovakia to take part financially and all that stuff. They probably have other reasons as well. I think they will return eventually. I just don't know if it will be the next 2 or 3 years. I think it may be a little longer than that. But I hope I'll be wrong. I hope I'll be wrong. Let's see. What else do we have here? So many questions. I forgive. Jonathan Van den Bos says, "Hi, Matt." Hi. So you liked my tweet about San Marino. I emailed them. What is your opinion about this tiny country at Eurovision? And also Valentina Moneta tweeted that she'd be coming back. She did tweet? If she wants to come back, great. I was worried also that she maybe after her dead last place in 2017 would be a little bit less encouraging. But what she needs to do, she needs to team up with somebody else. And this is no dig at Ralph Siegel. He has done so much for Eurovision, but I think it's time for Valentina to sing a song that is for her and that doesn't have that specific sound to it. This is how she will succeed at Eurovision. She's very talented. She has a great jazz voice, so she needs to have more a jazz-inspired song that really, really shows her talent. That is what my thinking is. But I love San Marino at Eurovision. They're always the biggest fan favorites. They deliver for the fans. They are so inviting. I love every year the San Marino team. They're my favorites. Or one of my favorites, I should say. They're just so approachable and so lovely. The head of press, whoever it's been, they've been really good to us, and I love them dearly. So they're one of my favorites. Okay, so what else do we have? Britta Smith is asking, do you think they should change the rule about how many people are allowed on stage? I want to say yes. In my heart says yes. I think they should bring it up to 8 people, right? I think that would be really neat to kind of fill the stage sometimes a little bit more, and you can do more, but at the same time, I get it. I get it why that's not currently happening. If you are at Eurovision and I see the behind the scenes stuff, it is so difficult. It is so difficult to get stuff on stage in just that short amount of time. So much rehearsing going on. The more people you have on stage, the longer it takes. And you have more people. Some of them are just backup vocalists. That's fine. You know, they just go into the box and they're done. But if you have a lot of dancers, a lot of people on stage, it can become crazy. So logistically, it's tough. But if it were just up to me for selfish reasons, I would say yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so let's see. Do we have another few questions, I should say. RX Ilinson says, what is your all-time favorite Eurovision song? How dare you ask me that question? That is impossible. That is impossible. I cannot even pick a favorite song each year. So how do you expect me a favorite Eurovision song of all time? Duh, no, I can't. I can't. I can't. I have like about 200 of them. To me it's very difficult to pick a favorite because sometimes I'm more into like that kind of music, like in that mood. So that song speaks more to me, and then at a different time that song speaks more to me. But there are so many songs that I love, I cannot just pick a favorite. So I get a question asked quite a bit, and I feel like I'm always it's a cop out on my part, but it is true. It's true. I have so many favorite songs. Okay, let's talk. Ricardo Lewis asking something about the green room. What do you think about the rumor of the green room being another way to sell more tickets to more fans watch this show live? It's not a rumor. It's not a rumor. It is actually the truth. So the actual, in case you guys don't know how this works, the actual arena, the show will take place in the convention center in Tel Aviv, Pavilion 2. Right? This is where it will all take place. And they only have up to 10,000 seats, I think, there. And so that's not much. 9,000 even, something like that. And possibly even less with the stage. I don't even know how many tickets will we have in the end. But it's not going to be much. So yes, they will have in Pavilion number 1, I believe, the green room. And then in the green room, which is like probably in the center, all the seats, there will be seats around the green room where people can watch the show from in there. You're not seeing the show, but you're still in there. And as the acts are done performing, they go into the green room and sit down. And this is not the first time that this happened. In 2013, I actually was in the green room in the audience. We had a green room in Malmö, Stockholm. Malmö, Sweden. Malmö, Sweden, where we also were in the green room. They had like seats behind them, and you can watch it from in there. I did that for the second semifinal. I got tickets for that, which was really cool. Actually, it was really cool and not, because I think I pointed out before, I was sitting in the loser corner. It was so depressing. I was sitting there. We got tickets from the San Marino team, right? Love them. So we were sitting right behind Valentina Monetta. I think to our right was FYR Macedonia, and then to our left was Switzerland, I want to say. And so we were right there surrounded by 3 non-qualifiers. So in the back, all the countries qualified. I saw Hungary jumping up. I saw Armenia running around. And then we were just in the depressing corner. It was not fun. But the rest was fun. So anyway, but that's my answer to your question. Okay, so what else do we have? Maritis Vink says, which artist would you like to see represent the Netherlands? You know, I'm not really an expert when it comes to Dutch artists. I am fairly limited in my knowledge. I'm really just mostly know the people that have taken part in Eurovision. So I don't really have a name. I was thrilled that Waylon came back. So I kind of have to rely on you guys. I do like about the Netherlands that they occasionally send just not the youngest chickens. Like they had a few people that are a little bit more experienced, right? The Kamlenets, obviously, Waylon, Trinche Oyster. They're a little bit more, not old, but they're certainly not 21. And I like the fact that they are giving those artists a fair shot as well. So I'd like to see someone that is maybe in the 30s or 40s to perform, right? I like when they have a little bit more diversity, because a lot of these countries go with the very young singers, the X Factor or Voice winners, and I like a little bit more diversity, mature voices. I wish that would be a little bit more diversity. So I'm hoping the Netherlands may deliver in that category. Let's see, who else do we have? Flavius97. Hi, Flavius. Romania is going to use again the 2 national final style. Do you think that will be dreadful again? I read about that, Flavius. So I watched Romania's national final. I did basically a video for every single one. It was exhausting. Look, I'm not necessarily against the idea of having this really elaborate national final, and I like the idea that they're going to different cities to kind of have a national final. It just really is. I like that they're bringing the flavors of different parts of the countries. I love that part, right? However, they had like, I don't know, 10 songs in each semi, and about 8 or 9 of them were horrible. They were like amateurish and bad. And I think they need to, number one, focus on quality work and not just let any song advance to the next round. And number 2, maybe bring down the number of songs taking part, maybe bring it down to 5, 6 songs, and then have the top 2 move on, or something like that. Bring down the numbers of songs, because it was just like, oh my god, I can't. And so that's what I'm hoping. I don't like the grand final selection process where you can see the number of votes occasionally, and I think they need to fix the voting system. That would be my opinion. You're welcome. All right, do we have more time? Yes, I'm going to do like 2 more questions and then we'll move on. But this is, fun. Okay, so let me see if a question here. Mata, who do you like to see representing Russia in 2019? Well, if you know anything about my history and my favorites, you will find out that I love Sergei Lazarev. You are the only one who was like one of my favorites. Oh, definitely my favorite. One of my all-time favorites. And I like his music anyway, and I love him. He has been. I interviewed him there, and he was the most approachable and down-to-earth guy. You would think like he's super popular in Russia and he would have an ego, but he was so nice, so humble, very approachable. I love talking to him, and he was actually quite funny. So I would love for him to come back. I don't know if he should actually, because yes, he won the televote, and I don't know if he can beat that. Even though 3rd place is fantastic, and you're always being compared to your first effort. But for selfish reasons, I want Sergei back. Justice for Sergei. Okay. ESC Germany is asking, do you think Kosovo will debut in 2019 after they voted for the full EBU membership in December? A couple of things that ESC Germany. Number one, even if they were to vote in favor of Kosovo becoming a EBU member independent, I think that's too late to take part in the contest. It's past the deadline. So they will not take part in 2019 unless, once again, and I talked about that earlier, the EBU will make an exception against their own rules. And I do think that at this point, Kosovo is just it's too big of a charged topic. Too many people get angry about it, and I don't think the EBU will go into that. So I don't think Kosovo will be allowed in there for that exact reason. Okay, so what else do we have here? So many questions. Okay, so Ricardo Lewis is asking, honestly, for you, what's the issue for the UK in ESC? Okay, this is a question that comes up a lot as well, and I kind of give the same answer, so I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, my apologies, but it's a night of honesty. So the UK definitely has an issue with the way the voting works. Number one, why is it secret? Why do we only find out who the winner is? They were like, well, we don't want to hurt everyone else's feelings. I'm like, you are taking part in a competition, in a contest. Once you're at Eurovision, you get judged as well. We know all the details. So you cannot that's a stupid excuse. They're also saying it's because you don't want to discourage other bigger names to take part because they want to be embarrassed if they don't do well. I'm like, then don't take part. I'm sick and tired of people saying, well, the big names. I'm like, if they can't take the heat, then you shouldn't be in the kitchen. So they need to be more transparent, because we don't know. Suri, did she win the televote? Did they win the jury vote? Did she win both? The same? We never know, and that is bad. They need to be more transparent. They need to get rid of that stupid panel, that influence. They were so anti the guys this year. All the men that performed, they were very critical, and they praised all the women. It seems very biased, and people are influenced by that. Let people decide and be transparent. That is what I'm telling the BBC. I know they never really release the results. It's like their long-standing policy. Well, as far as Eurovision is concerned, that is done. Just saying. Okay, so from 2004 to 2018, what are your top 3 songs that failed to qualify? Gat Uf Ni-san is asking. I did a video about 2 months ago about my favorite non-qualifiers of all time, and you should check it out. There are a bunch of them, and I'm trying to remember which were at the top of it. I think my favorite, my Finland 2010 comes to mind. I loved that one. I put that one really high up. Finland, again, 2017. How did that not qualify? Beats the hell out of me. This year I was very upset about Switzerland, even though I knew it was going to happen. So there are a bunch of them. I need to refresh my memory because I'm doing so many things at the same time that I can think of the songs that I have to pick from. But I do know that Finland 2010 was actually my number 1. Okay, so are you still looking for people to join your team? Rick Lanson is asking. Yes, we are still looking for people. We have a form on our website that you can use, or you can send an email to info@escunited.com, or feel free to send it to me directly at matt@escunited.com. We need people to do the news. I'm also looking for people who may be interested joining me on camera as the Eurovision season picks up, and we're going to have conversations, reviews, and all that stuff if you're comfortable with that. So whatever you want to do, you may want to help out writing op-eds, whatever you want to do, send us a message. Okay, so what else do we have? I'm going to ask two more questions, and I said that before. Natalie Shaw is asking, do you think the UK will do better this year? Tamar Caprillion sent a song, and so did Joust. I just heard about Tamar. Tamar was screwed over this year in Armenia. The answer is yes. I think the UK is on the right path. I think they're on the right path. Number one, they now have a national final. Even though the results are not necessarily reflecting that per se, I feel as that there is potential. Especially this year, they had so much potential, they just picked the wrong song. So hopefully if they have similar song quality, there is potential there. And if there's more interest, Joust, Tamar, they are really good out of both of their entries. By all means, I think it's just a matter of time. UK is still figuring things out. Their time will come. So I think they could do well. I mean, it can't get much worse than last year, but it technically could, right? So, but I think they are on the right path, even though it's not quite reflected yet in the results. And I'm very optimistic when it comes to the UK. Okay, so one more question, and then I'm moving on. There's another question about Bulgaria. I talked about that before, Warren Love. We had it earlier in the live stream. I'll watch it when it's archived in just about 45 minutes. And then the last question here is, do you think there's going to be the same diversity that was in these years with the songs, opera, metal, ballads? You watched probably my videos as well. I was a big fan of 2018. This is a perfect way to actually wrap this up. I thought I was a big fan. I was a big fan of 2018, not just the song quality, but just the diversity in overall. I want this to continue. Different diversity when it comes to languages, different diverse style when it comes to song style, genres, people. I just love that. And it's going to be hard to beat 2018 because it was so diverse, but I hope we're going to stay somewhere close to that. Have some jazz, traditional jazz, local jazz like Georgia, have like some fun pop opera like Estonia, have some more country rock like the Netherlands. You know, there are so many different styles, and sometimes you can do really, really well. And look at Portugal last year. They won with a song that no one thought they could win with. So be different, be daring. It doesn't always work out, but oftentimes it does, because what you want to do is stand out. And that is what it comes down to. So overall, I'm hoping for a similar kind of outcome in 2019 as far as song styles are concerned. So hopefully fingers and toes and everything else I can cross are crossed. So this is the live stream for today. Thank you everyone for joining. I will be back next week. Make sure to subscribe to us if you haven't done so already. That way you'll be notified when I'm live. I will also post it way early, but it's every Saturday at 7 p.m. 1900 Central European Time. And if anything crazy comes up, we also have a bunch of videos throughout the week going online, and so don't miss out. Anyway, have a good night everyone. Thank you for this fun, and see you soon. Goodbye.